This is the Roger Hedgecock Show. Welcome back to the Romco Group studio here at UTTV. Now, who owns that tattoo? You may think you do because you bought it and you're wearing it more or less permanently there. But do you really own it? For instance, if it shows up on a video game or in a movie. Ricky Williams got into a lawsuit on this thing. The former NFL Dolphins star got into an altercation because the tattoo artist that had put that tattoo on his arm, there it is right there, is on the cover of Electronic Arts' NFL Street video game. Now suddenly the tattoo artist said, wait a minute, that's a copyrighted image, and then they went to court. I wanted to talk a little bit about that issue because so many people these days have tattoos, and you may or may not want to do anything with it. I mean, you may not be on the head of in a video game or in a movie, but you never know. And you never know when it might come up as to who owns it. You may think you do, but let's talk about it. Alan Bloom is here as an attorney working in this and many other issues, 38 years or more in the criminal defense area, but working on this issue now at copyright, right?
Actually, this was a case that came to me because there was a copyright issue involving prosecuting some people, not for tattoos, but for other types of uses of products. So I've seen it in the criminal side as well.
You have? Okay.
We're talking about mostly civil side, people suing somebody for money, but I've seen it in the criminal side.
Interesting. And Clayton is here, who is a tattoo artist. How long have you been an artist?
I've been an artist all my life.
All your life?
Yep.
And you've taught a lot of people.
I have.
And now you're working for one of them.
I've been a professor for 10 years, yeah.
And what's the name of the studio you work at?
The Vishuda Creatives in South Park.
Vishuda Creative. And South Park, your estimate of how many people, like in your age group and around in your neighborhood, that have tattoos?
Most of the people that I associate with, I think, have tattoos.
Okay. In the general population, what do you think it is?
I would say at least 40%.
Yeah. In like an under 40 or under 35?
Under 30, yeah.
Under 30?
Under 30. But there's, tattoos are mainstream. They're completely mainstream now, and it's not, there used to be bikers and sailors and prisoners, and tattoos are all over the place now. Do
you have copyrights on any of your designs?
I don't. I don't.
Are you thinking about it now?
I am.
Because it seems like a unique design, even though you may, from an artist's point of view, look on the human body as your, in effect, your canvas.
Absolutely.
For the artwork you're doing. And this makes it something that you're creating that maybe you still have an interest in.
When we do only custom work at our shop. There's nothing on the wall that you go and pick out some cherries and get them tattooed somewhere.
Right.
We do custom pieces, so we do big, beautiful pieces. And
we're going to show some of those, yeah.
And when I do one of those pieces, it's designed specifically for that body part and that client. And so it's theirs, but once it leaves, I expect that it'll be seen and it will be viewed by everyone. But if it were isolated, if it were decontextualized and just the tattoo were shown, then I would think that it would kind of go back to being mine.
Now, he doesn't have to actually put a copyright right on it.
Okay.
When Picasso did a painting, when somebody did a painting, it becomes theirs, and you don't have to say copyright down at the bottom.
But he didn't paint on somebody's backside.
That's the issue. That's what's interesting about this whole thing.
Well, okay.
Picasso.
Other than a couple of times.
Picasso did a lot of things, but when somebody makes a drawing of any kind, is an artist and develops some product, the copyright is built into it, so you don't have to formally take it as a patent like Louis Vuitton or somebody like that. You don't have to do that. It becomes his. Clayton owns that, and he owns it. The question is, and if he would put it on a piece of paper and sell it, and then this piece of paper then would be put on a T-shirt, there'd be no question that he would have his right to his share of it, his slice of it.
Right.
But it's very different when you're giving it to somebody on their body, and you're saying, you can walk around with it, this is yours, and I'm selling it to you.
Particularly because I'm paying for it.
They paid for it, and then they get into a movie.
In other words, if I pay for Picasso's painting and I hang it on my wall, Picasso has no more right to it.
Well, he still does have a right to it.
What right does he have to it?
You can't take his painting and put it on a postcard and sell it.
That's
the difference. You commercialize it.
Yeah.
When Clayton says contextualize it, take it out of the tattoo on the person and make it just the tattoo, not the both together.
For a commercial product.
For a commercial purpose. That's where he says he wants a slice of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. When I was in grad school, I did a piece and it sold, and it showed up in a magazine, but it wasn't decontextualized. It was part of an interior design. And at that point, I'm fine with that. That's great. It's part of the decorations. I'm happy that it's being shown. If it were just shown as the piece, then I would want recognition and a piece of that.
But the devil's always in the details when you get to this thing, Roger.
Okay.
Here you have, let's say you take an ex-heavyweight champion of the world, a man by the name of Mike Tyson, who has a very distinctive Marai tattoo put on his face. And he goes into a movie which is called Hangover. And he gets a lot of publicity from this movie. He makes a lot of money from the movie, and the movie does well. So good, in fact, that they make a Hangover 2. And in that movie, they're doing a kind of a parody of themselves. It's a comedy, of course. And in that movie, they take one of the guys who's the actors in it. They get him drunk. He doesn't know what happens. He wakes up with a tattoo. What kind of tattoo? That tattoo of the Marai, exactly.
Same one.
So that guy, so the artist who did Tyson's tattoo the first time, did not sue Tyson or the movie company when Tyson himself walked onto the set to do Hangover 1. But when he saw that his tattoo was now put on somebody else, and now it's going to be part of the movie, he said, wait a second, I should get a piece of this. He filed a lawsuit, and the lawsuit was settled. I don't know how much he got, probably in the thousands. I doubt the movie was stopped because of it, but he got his piece of it, and that's what Clayton is saying he has a right to.
It's very interesting because I think the NFL players particularly, or any high-profile individual like Mike Tyson, is going to be in a situation at some point in time where the distinctive features of that, especially one visible on the face, is going to become, marketable in somebody else's eyes, saying, "Oh, I could make something out of that," because people recognize that, and it becomes something else, as it did happen in this movie. Again, what is that? It seems to me your business is evolving here.
Absolutely, it is, and I think, like I said, tattoos are so mainstream now that there's a lot of new areas and new places where it's kind of muddy. It's kind of muddy.
Well, Clayton was telling me something before we came onto the set, Roger, that was interesting. Let's say he uses an image which is very widely known, like Yoda, which is what he said he did.
Right.
And he takes somebody, and somebody wants Yoda, and wants to put on there. But does Spielberg have Lucas. Does Lucas have a right
now.
to...
Yeah, Disney.
Does he have... does Walt come out of his grave and say, wait a second, you got to give me a piece of every tattoo that you make? So it can work in the other direction. Clayton's
What do you feel about that, Clayton?
Well, in making art, I always think that if you change it 30%, that's kind of been the rule that I was taught in grad school, and if you change it 30%, and just the act of how I put that Yoda on, the shading that I use, the line work that I use, it's definitely changed 30%, and at that point I think it becomes mine.
All right, now I've asked our viewers actually to weigh in on this business of who do you think owns that tattoo that you have. And Ty Hines is standing by at our Roger Hedgecock Show Facebook page feedback board. Let's see what the viewers are thinking about all this. Ty, what's going on?
What's up, Roger? This is actually a really interesting topic that we chose today. We got a lot of feedback on the Facebook page. Michael makes a great point, I think. He says, no tattoos on me, but if the artist wants to claim ownership over the tattoo, then the artist should also pay the person to advertise for them.
Let me bring in Clayton on that one. What do you think, Clayton?
When I do a tattoo on someone, it's like I said, it's theirs. But I do think that the advertising is kind of implied. I get my work from people wearing my tattoos around. Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
I tattoo a waiter, and people see it every day, and that's how I get a large portion of my business.
Interesting. All right, Ty, back to you.
Well, Roger, our next topic here was Joe chimed in saying the same thing, which we have here. But if we can keep on going through, we had another one where Larry says most tats are already drawn. They simply just re-ink it on someone. Now, a lot of tattoo artists, they come up with original things, but Joe seems to think that a lot of these people are just repurposing on someone's arm, leg, back, wherever it may be.
Well, there's no real copyright issue or creative issue if you just take a stencil of somebody else's done a million times.
Right, yeah, you're talking about a situation where somebody's taking advantage of something which isn't part of public domain, not part of something that's already out there.
Let's get some more feedback. We got about a minute. Go ahead, Ty.
Well, Roger, I actually have an interesting question. A lot of people get, for example, I'm a huge Lakers fan. So, one day I might want to get a Lakers tattoo on me. Would I have to then pay the Lakers organization for that?
Or get permission?
Can organizations then turn and sue fans for getting tattoos without fans' permission?
I don't know, Alan, this is going to get complicated.
Well, Kobe actually has a tattoo, and it's unique to him, something about his wife and his kid.
No, but what about a fan getting a Lakers tattoo?
Kobe trying to use his tattoo, whether it can be marketed, and whether or not somebody can use that tattoo, and whether Kobe can go on a movie to use it, and whether or not the tattoo artist has a piece of it. So
lawyers are going to be busy on this one.
Yeah,
All right, I got to go.
If we want to spend the time, we could.
I understand. All right, the only aquaculture farm in Southern California. They're making the oysters you eat in the restaurants, and we'll talk about that with the owner right after this.